that way?
Yeah.
Or over that way?
That way. That way.
Oh, we don't know. Can you smell it? Can you smell the lake?
Yeah. Can't push it. Okay. Okay, I want to do it.
You want to do it? Okay, you ready, Mason?
Okay, do you want I'm next.
All right. We're really excited to have you here. Some of you are going to be having a class with me this morning. Some of you are going to be having a class with our other naturalist. His name's Mr. Tom, and he's in the back here in a brown sweatshirt. And he's got his camouflage hat on, so you can't see the top of his head, but you can see the rest of him. And you'll also see some other people. Some of your teachers are going to be teaching classes while we're here today. I want you to make sure that you know the rules while we're here, though. And since we are here with school, we have to remember that the rules here are the same as the rules at school. We want to make sure that we're being polite, that we're being courteous. We're saying please and thank you and no thank you. We're not calling names. We're not pushing and shoving, just like in school, right?
And when you think it, if you know what it smells like, just raise your hand after you smell, okay? But don't shout out. You haven't even smelled it yet. But when you think you know what it smells like, just raise your hand. But don't say, yeah, this is what it is. And we'll just see what you can get, okay? Yep, just smell. No, just smell. You good with it? You think you know what it smells like right off. Raise your hand. Okay, what I do with tree ecology with the students, I try to introduce them to trees more on a personal basis, beyond a name. For example, if I say like, this is a white pine tree, I take the 5 needles and I spread them out and show them how it spells the word white, W-H-I-T-E, and I explain to them what the pine sap does, and they smell it, and I tell them how it's used for, to prevent infection and for invading the tree, and then it's kind of like a touchy-feely type experience, so they can remember things. Well, for example, like a sassafras tree that smells like a lemon. They're not going to remember sassafras, but they'll remember the name that I teach them, and that's like the green stick tree. And then, some native, always will throw in some like Native American type things, like how Native Americans would take and make sassafras tea out of the roots. And the roots in the tea was actually good, it was good for, for drinking, for health purposes, and, those type things. The center of the tree is solid. But even if it was hollow, the tree could still be living because it's right underneath the bark is the living, what they call the living tissue, or the living skin. Okay?
Lila, your hat is on the... Right here.
Don't forget.
Thank you, Mr. Vera.
We service students from all over districts, but our main focus is definitely Lansing School District children. That's really our main goal. We service any students K through 12. Primarily elementary are the students who come out here. A lot of times students will come with their teachers and parents and chaperones for a day trip, which is much like the students that we have on campus today, or just out for a day trip, which is a little bit fast-paced because they've got to fit so much in such a short amount of time, but they still get an incredible opportunity and experience here at Ebersole. We also offer overnight stays, so a school group can come and just, after they've tried it for a day, or if they just want to give it a try for one night, we can do one night. We prefer them to stay for a 3-day program, which would be 2 nights, say a Monday through Wednesday or a Wednesday through Friday. But they can also stay all the way through a week. And we do have groups that stay Monday through Friday, which is an incredible opportunity to really fit in a lot of the curriculum that we have to offer and teach the kids about a lot of the science, environmental ethics, ecology and some of those concepts that they're already learning in the classroom. So it's a day group all the way to a week-long group, whatever the teachers would like to have, we can provide.
And during the course of the year, we're a seasonal camp, and we operate 4 times a year, and each season has its own theme or unit. For example, in the fall we have classes like fall and plant transitions, and recreation classes like canoeing and archery, and then in the winter time we'll do winter pond study and cross country skiing and snowshoeing is a big hit, and that's where age comes in when you fall down on cross country skis and find out how hard it is to try to get up. And but students fall down as well, and then we move on to spring, and spring is like our field trip month, and a lot, we do a lot of other activities too, like mammal study, but the big highlight of the spring is a lot of groups like to go to Lake Michigan over at Saugatuck Dune State Park, and a lot of students surprisingly have never seen Lake Michigan. And there's such an awe when they walk up to the lake and they think, well, that's the ocean. And one of my most memorable experiences was when a boy one time, he looked at the water and he turned around and put his back to it and just fell out and bent backwards and just lapped up the water. And he was just in pure joy. So to me, as a naturalist, I think that is, in any job, there's a highlight of your job. And to me, that's mine, and that's taking kids into Lake Michigan to experience that lake. And then also too, we have now we're back into the fall, and we do our fall program that we're doing now, and that can be kind of a dispersion of other things, like we'll do in classes, we'll do like owl study and so on. And a lot of times too, we'll have like next week we're going to have a program from Lansing, Project Lakewell. They're going to come out and they'll do like Voyager and Acments, and so we have a lot of resource people will come and spend time out here and do things with us.
It's a different kind of shell, isn't it, Dick Harry? Wow, look at that shell. You're a good team. Okay, did you trade? Who got the net and who got the spoon?
We got a snail.
A snail? Okay, can you drop it in here? We got some really pretty snail shells. All right, let's see if we can find something different than a snail now. The pond study that we are teaching today is a course on the ecology of the lake that we have here. We have a private lake that's called Jackson Lake. It's a very, very clean lake, and so it's an excellent example of what lakes would have been like before humans interacted too much with them. There's no houses on the lake. That means that there's very little pollution. We do get some runoff from fields nearby, but that is the only outside influence on the lake. So it's a very clean lake. We're able to find lots of critters in there, lots of insect larvae, nymphs of the insects. We find all kinds of different animals in there, and we talk a lot about the food chain and the food web, what would happen if we would get rid of all the plants, or what would happen if the lake would get polluted and those insects could not live there, how it impacts the greater environment, how it impacts the lake, how it impacts other animals that live around the lake or other places nearby. So all those things are linked together in water ecology, or pond study as we sometimes call it. And it's a great way for kids to learn about how those things are all connected.
Yeah, that's probably be good.
Out our net. Oh, there's something moving right there. Look at that. Whoa. Look at the size of that thing.
I see it.
Oh, wait, it is.
That's not that one. I found that one. No, I found that one. I found that one. No, I found that one. I found that one. No, I found it. I did.
Here's another little guy. This is called a mayfly. And mayflies, when they hatch out, when they come out of the water, you know how caterpillars turn into butterflies?
Yeah.
These little guys are like caterpillars. They live in the water first, and then they turn into insects that fly around.